They call it a survival run, and they're not kidding. 20 hours on foot and in water, across a volcano, dodging obstacles, even carrying a live animal. And then just when you think you're home free, a confrontation that stops you in your tracks. It's the kind of physical and mental challenge that takes you to the edge. And 16 by 9 went along with two men who couldn't wait to get started.
Si vienes a Ometepe y no estás preparado, si tu energía no está lista para ingresar a la isla de Ometepe, si no conecta tu alma, tu corazón y tu mente, y no estarás listo para soportar la energía que rige nuestra isla de Ometepe. La energía de nuestros volcanes, la energía que fluye, la vibra que se siente.
On a Tuesday afternoon in New York, Olaf Dahlner is preparing for another victory.
I want to finish really badly.
Olaf has already conquered the death race, a brutal three-day competition. Now, he's looking ahead to win another, even more challenging title, the Fuego y Agua Survival Run.
How do you train for running through the jungle when you're in New York City? I could try to go to the zoo and break in, but I don't think that's gonna work.
This time, Olaf will be taking on an obstacle course that's more than 70 kilometers long, weaving in and out of the jungle and up a volcano nearly 1,400 meters high. To win, Olaf will have to beat this man, Jung-Yong Pak. He's dominated competitions like Tough Mudder, even winning the crown of the world's toughest mudder the last 2 years running. The two have faced off before, placing first and second in another extreme race.
I feel like it's my destiny, like obstacle racing is my destiny.
Jung is all around strong. Like, I don't see any weaknesses in him. He's definitely a better runner than me.
If it comes down to who's grittier and tougher, he has certainly a big advantage because that guy is about as tough as you get. I really feel like I have to win. I definitely do want to win. I don't like losing.
So Jung-Yong trains 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he does it in the most unusual places.
I don't have a gym membership, so I do most of my training in natural environments. Oh, that's not gonna break. That's gonna break. Woo. This is my dog, Georgia. My training partner. She logged about 4,000 miles. Best training partner ever.
Four days until the race, and both men are in the final stages of preparations. In Massachusetts, Jung-Yong is putting together his gear.
As you can see, I'm not very much of a light packer. I have to bring a lot of stuff. Shoes, 2-liter hydration pack, lots of electronics, a fuel belt with 12 gels, 2 bandanas. I'm not sure what that's for.
I think the key to this race is going to be not overpacking. You're still going to run 70K across 2 volcanoes. You have to move pretty fast. I'll probably bring a few packets of mustard. Something about the salt and the taste that picks you up. 5 Hour Energy's got nothing on mustard. I don't think anyone really knows what you really need to bring. And that's what's fun, you know. Maybe except for the locals. There's a local guy that's doing the race too, so he might know what's going on. Might have buy him a beer when I get there and talk to him.
It's travel day, and from Manhattan, Olaf has a 9-hour trip to Nicaragua ahead of him.
Well, I managed to wake up at 3:30 this morning to catch my morning flight.
At his stopover in Houston, Jung-Young keeps up his training.
My travel day lasted 21 hours, so there was no time to run in there. So I was at the airport doing some stretching and some exercises, and got some funny stares, but that's part of what you are when you're an obstacle racer, I guess.
Yep, people are definitely looking at me funny.
It's still 2 days before the official race, but for these two, the friendly rivalry starts now.
I mean, I still want to beat the guy, but and we'll come out of it still friends. But you know, I'm gonna try what I can.
Ometepe, Nicaragua, February 16th, race day.
I saw the volcanoes, how high they are. This is gonna be a race to remember. It's a little bit intimidating.
One volcano, 2 1,400-meter climbs, 20 hours, and 16 grueling, body-breaking obstacles stand ahead of the racers. And there's another threat looming. This guy, Johnson Cruz, a relative unknown. He's been looking for the chance to make a name for himself in his own country.
This is his background. He runs these trails. He probably knows it like inside and out right now.
But for now, Olaf and Jung-Young need to direct their focus on the challenge ahead.
You're gonna have to deal with this in a very primal way. You know, you're gonna have to survive this thing.
Next, two friends, neck and neck,
I felt like I was up against the rope a little bit.
in the race of a lifetime.
Please hurry.
For the next 20 hours, quiet life on the island of Ometepe, Nicaragua, is going to be disrupted. Cattle that roam the streets will have to make room for 37 obstacle course racers, all hell-bent on victory. It's called the Fuego y Agua Survival Run, a race where ultramarathon meets obstacle course, and it's the first of its kind. Jung-Young Pak and Olaf Dahlner are among the few hand-picked athletes selected to participate.
I've certainly never done anything like that before.
It's a brutal race. It's absolutely brutal, and that's great. That's what it should be.
It's 4 a.m. Adrenaline is high, and racers are anxious to start. And at the starting line, they get a chicken. Olaf quickly makes an ally and heads out hen in hand.
I already taught him how to start and stop my clock.
The racers have 20 hours to complete 16 obstacles and run more than 70 kilometers. That's almost 2 marathons.
All right, here we go.
Jung-Young falls into a familiar rhythm.
My strategy was to not get caught up in the crowd. I like running out in the open. I feel comfortable leading.
This is a long race. You have to focus on your own pace, your own race tactic or race plan.
But there are some things you can't plan. At the next obstacle, they get stopped and handcuffed for stealing a chicken. It's all part of the game.
Please hurry. They tied our hands together and made us run the next like 3 miles or so with them on.
When you handed the chicken off and they put on the handcuffs, I pretty soon I realized this was part of the race. Wow. This is almost taking me off.
It's still early morning when racers get to the first supply station. This is their only chance to get water and food for the next few hours.
I have you checked in.
But they have to pass a memory test first.
Okay, which one is it?
They didn't tell me what are you talking about?
Jung-young arrives in the lead, but he's thrown off by the puzzle.
They didn't give you one
No,
at the start?
No.
Okay.
You had to memorize something at each aid station, and when you got to the next aid station, if you didn't get it right, you didn't get any aid. So you didn't get any water or any gels or food. So it was important to try to remember right.
I was a little frustrated because when Olaf pulled up at the memorization test, the first aid station, they told us that they had given us a memorization test, and I never received it, so I wasn't even eligible to try. I could have guessed. I should have tried guessing.
Okay, which one was it? Do you remember?
Jung-young forfeits his chance to get water to stay out in front. I felt like I was up against the rope a little bit, but I said, you know, I had enough water. I rolled with the punch, and I just kept going.
You're right. Okay, you can go get aid.
Hour 3, and racers arrive at the 4th challenge. Jung-young is still in first, but Olaf is only a few minutes back, holding second place.
With us, Scout?
Competitors have to carry 50 pounds of wood to the next checkpoint.
You want to try to get up on your shoulders, and then you can go pretty far, reasonably fast with that kind of weight.
That challenge probably took about 2.5, 3 hours in all. And if you could just imagine shouldering wood on your bony shoulder, like with little spines coming out, there's just no good way to hold it.
Off we go.
As the sun rises, racers find themselves in an unfamiliar world.
You're just kind of going through villages on small dirt roads. A lot of monkeys, pigs, dogs. I always had to kind of weave around, so it makes it really interesting.
It's so rural. You can't even believe how surreal it is.
Doing good, doing good.
But along the way, Jung-young makes a wrong turn.
Man, that was a long hike. It was about 6 miles.
It was really frustrating because not only was it time, but it was a lot of effort. I was trying to stay in the race, so the whole time the intensity was very high.
What place am I in?
The challenge hit Jung-young hard. He's fallen from 1st to 9th place. And Olaf has pulled into the lead. Olaf arrives at the tree climbing challenge with no competition in sight.
I don't climb a lot of trees. It was solid ground and concrete down there if you were to fall off, so. And there was bracelets hanging up there, and you had to get a bracelet down. And that was challenging. I was definitely a little bit tense about that climb. I eventually got up there. It was some hard work. That was exciting.
But suddenly Johnson Cruz arrives. With an effortless climb up the tree, the island native moves into second place.
Yeah, Johnson.
Yeah, very easy. It's very, very, very easy.
Jung-young is battling to regain his lead. He'll have to make up a lot of ground and fast. Olaf is 40 minutes ahead.
You can't make that kind of time up just by luck. You're gonna have to whittle away in small pieces, and it's gonna take a lot of work just to even do that.
It's nearly 30 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is so thick, it feels like running into a wall. And on top of it, athletes have to drag a log down the beach for 3 kilometers.
It's just demoralizing when you realize that you're taking it all the way down to the end of the beach.
While Jung-young struggles to complete the challenge, Olaf missed it entirely, running right by.
No one directed me to that obstacle, and so I ended up just passing those logs.
It's a costly mistake, but then he makes a second one at the next checkpoint.
So the next obstacle was to take a long bamboo stick up the mountain. But since I missed an obstacle and was so ahead of everyone, there's no one, these stations weren't up yet. So they were supposed to go like 2/3 up the mountain with a bamboo stick, and I ended up going to the top of the mountain with a bamboo stick.
The mistake costs him precious time. It means Olaf won't win the race. It means he won't even place.
You know, a little fluke, little thing that happened that I missed that obstacle, and that kind of sealed my fate. You know, I can get water here, right? Yes. I knew I wasn't going to be an official finisher. I just wanted to see, you know, I just wanted to go further. It wouldn't be me if I would stop now. See you up there.
With Olaf out of the running, suddenly it's a head-to-head race between Jung-young Park and Johnson Cruz. It could go either way.
Next, last man standing or swimming.
There were very real, life-threatening moments.
Wins the race.
It's hour 10, and racers have barely completed half the course. Jung-young Park and Johnson Cruz haven't stopped moving since 4 a.m. There is no break in sight. With only a few minutes between the two men, Jung-young sees his chance to reclaim the lead.
I picked up the pace even more. There was a wide open running section, and I hammered those hills just like up and down and over. And when I get to the next checkpoint, Johnson was actually there. I bridged that gap. I was incredibly ecstatic. I didn't think it was going to be possible that soon.
Oh, so we're like neck and neck right now.
Yeah.
But still looming is a climb up a steep volcano. With reckless abandon, Jung-young charges ahead, uncertain of the dangers before him.
There are roots everywhere. It's super windy, and as you got closer to the top, it's just slick mud. And especially being on the volcano by yourself, it was pretty sketchy, because if you fell, there wouldn't be anybody to help you. The danger was very real. There were a couple of moments when I thought that I could slip and crack my head, or there were very real, life-threatening moments.
Johnson was able to escape the terrain relatively unscathed, arriving first at the next challenge. It's an obstacle that might be in his favor. Chopping trees is second nature to the island native. Not so for this city boy.
I've never cut a tree down before, but as an engineer, I was looking at the structure, you know, trying to cut this pretty massive tree down the best way that I knew how, which was just to take the legs out. Where to?
Night is coming and racers have to face the final challenge. A long swim in the dark to retrieve a log. Junyoung has one last chance to regain the lead.
I'm not a very strong swimmer, and I wasn't sure I could make that 250-meter swim.
The race is close. Johnson gets to the lake first. Junyoung's been up for almost 24 hours. He's run across 2/3 of the island and climbed a volcano twice. But this is the moment that counts most.
Johnson was only a couple minutes ahead. That just fueled me with a new fire.
Junyoung comes out of the water. There's just 13 meters between him and the finish line. It's a small distance, but it feels longer with the log he has to roll. To officially finish, Junyoung has to drop his log on the fire. But when he arrives, there's already a log burning. Local Johnson Cruz has won the first ever Fuego y Agua survival run.
I feel great. I feel awesome. I feel very, very excited.
Congratulations, Pac. That was just incredibly gratifying, and you're just kind of like overwhelmed with joy that it's finally over.
Of the 37 racers who started the race, only Johnson and Junyoung finished.
Good job, Pac. All right.
The other 35 competitors won't go home victorious, but they will leave the island of Ometepe with tales to tell of battling a volcano and surviving.
Coming up next week on 16 by 9, in Canada, we're only one keyboard click away from 4,000 gun shops in the U.S., and that can be deadly.
It's time for Congress to require a universal background check for anyone trying to buy a gun.
There's no background check, right?
No background check, no. Click of the mouse, you can get a military-style assault weapon, no questions asked, no paperwork.
The ease of purchasing weapons in the United States is unimaginable.
No background checks, right?
Right.
Good, because I probably couldn't pass one.
I probably couldn't either.
It seems like every bullet entered her body.
Chica was shot 6 times at close range with a .40 caliber bullet in her face.
And that is our broadcast for tonight. I'm Carolyn Jarvis. From all of us here at 16 by 9, thanks for watching and have a great weekend.